Riverside Theatre, Woodbridge, launching something called Riverside at Home. You can bring the experience of the cinema to your own living room. And who doesn't want to do that? Whilst also supporting, of course, your local theatre. Stuart Saunders on the programme. He's the owner of the Riverside. Hi, Stuart.
Hello, James.
Good afternoon to you, my friend. This is exciting. Tell us more.
Yeah, it keeps us in the picture, if you pardon the pun.
I like it.
That was off the cuff as well. But I don't think it's going to replace what we had, of course. But it's nice profiling, and it keeps us all alive, really. And I think the other thing is that obviously there's some great platforms to watch films on, and we all know that. And I'm a member of many of them myself. But these are slightly less force-fed, if you like, and a little bit off-piece. You've got an interesting choice, from Perfect 10 to Jones, Falling, Coup 53, narrated by Ralph Fiennes. So there's a nice, a different eclectic mix of films that film buff who possibly had enough of being force-fed or the usual.
Ah, interesting. How does it work exactly, Stuart?
Well, you're asking the wrong person there.
Right.
I mean, I can't even work my iPhone, but really, the truth is we've been wanting to do this for some time, and it's really over to the film distributor at this point, where they make it work from a sort of hub they have that we link into, and that's basically sort of how it works is over to them. But obviously,
well, it does. That's the main
that
thing.
they've let happen, which is good news.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we are beginning to now think about supporting our local businesses, companies, independent traders, and all of that. This is one way we can do that, isn't it?
Well, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's a nice way of having a little bit of fun in the meantime before the world opens up again, where I think the support really will be there for the independents. In fact, I think it's going to be the Independence Day, really, because I think when the world's blown up and starting again, it's all going to be about small people, really. So it's quite exciting times ahead of time, I think.
That's a very positive view of the future, Stuart. Often we talk to many people who understandably are very concerned about what has gone on and the situation they're in. You do seem to have a very positive view of what's just around the corner.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to make it positive. I really think that's how it is. It's basically right the way down to, if you like, the coffee shop. The world's blown up, it's starting again, and, with perhaps people have been, inspired about, cappuccinos, if you go back years from maybe, the big chains, and suddenly it's that independent doing a little bit more love and slightly something smaller. It's going to be so much more attractive, especially with people wanting that human contact. So I think it's just a fact, really. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it's great to hear. The independents will have their day. Now, you can find out more about this. Stuart's going to be back with Sarah Liley on Saturday morning to give us an in-depth look at just how we can be involved with this. But suffice to say, something to keep an eye on. Riverside at Home is the project. The Riverside Theatre in Woodbridge putting that on. And they are, of course, not beyond a little bit of out-of-the-box thinking. This has been doing the rounds in your head for a little while now, Stuart, hasn't it?
It has, really, but it's slightly out of our control as far as launching it. So now the film distributors are up for it. It all makes it very easy.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And as soon as the new James Bond film finally comes out.
Well, I think we're hopefully saving that one for the big screen.
Exactly.
And that's another thing tucked around the corner, which will be, again, very exciting.
Oh, OK. Well, we wait with bated breath for that. More with Stuart on Sunday morning with Sarah Lee. For the moment, Stuart, keep well. Thank you for joining us.
On her programme from 10. First, though, what does your Saturday night have in store? A bit quiet these days, isn't it? None of us are going to be going out to the movies. You might want to treat yourself to a film at home. The Riverside in Woodbridge is one of the county's best-loved independent cinemas and has launched a new service so that you can do just that while supporting them. We can have a chat with Stuart Saunders, who owns the Riverside. Hi, Stuart.
Good morning, Sarah. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you this morning?
Well, as you know, it's a little early for me this morning, but I'm up and down.
Good, thank you. Thank you for getting up early for us. Tell us about the cinema at home service that you're doing now there.
Well, it's just a little fun to keep us in the picture, as I said to James Hazell the other day. But there's a collection of interesting films that are easily downloaded via our website or actually the Riverside at Home. and you just pay either $4.95 or $9.95, depending on whether it's a fairly new film or an older, perhaps more art house film. But it is quite interesting because they're films you won't really get on other platforms. We've done a nice eclectic mix of interesting stuff really for the film buff, I think. And it just keeps us alive whilst we're shut.
Yeah, and I guess that the important thing here is it's just a way to kind of support local independent cinema that we all love and we're all missing, because watching cinema at home, it's never going to be the same experience as coming to see things on the big screen, is it?
Well, not really, not unless I can stand there with the chalk icers or something, so that's not allowed, obviously.
No.
So, we'd hate it to be the same, really, I suppose, but there'll always be this love for going to the cinema. It was really interesting, even before the last lockdown. When we sort of opened up and we were still with restrictions and masks, we sometimes, due to lack of product, put films on like Cocktail and Pulp Fiction, which were actually on TV in that sort of week, and we were still selling out. So it just goes to show that it's just a different experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the thing. The classics, if you never got to see them in the cinema first time around, then it's great to see those on the big screen. Lockdown 3, how's it does it feel any different to you? This is here we go again with having to shut the cinema. How does it feel this time around?
Well, I think it does feel slightly different. In many ways, for me, it's kind of easier because I've got used to it. I think it takes momentum away for some of the team members, and we all keep in touch, trying to perk everybody up, ready to roll again. Without a date in mind, obviously, some of the youngsters, it seems like a long time for them. But I'm just kind of hanging in there and looking forward to when it does happen, and when it does happen, it will be exciting. There's no doubt about it. And
you're confident that the audience will be there and wanting to get back into the cinema?
Well, do you know what? This time I'm even more confident. The last time I was worried, and it slowly picked up, and then the same happened again. I think this time's going to be obviously a lot better with vaccinations and what have you, and I think there's going to be a pent-up demand that is almost going to be frightening to deal with, because people are really going to be screaming to have some human contact and have some fun.
Absolutely. And I guess next weekend would have been a pretty big one for the cinema, because it's Valentine's Day, of course, next Sunday. The people would have been bringing their dates to the movies and all that kind of thing. So it's a shame that, people would have to do something else, won't they?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's Valentine's is it's not something I personally like as a restaurateur particularly, but in fact it means you've got a load of twos in the restaurant really, and quite nice. But
I've never thought of that.
It's a Sunday, so it's a bonus.
Right, okay, so that's all right. But people can just have cinema at home, date night at home, I suppose.
Well, they can do that indeed, yeah. But putting romantic films on the cinema is fun on Valentine's, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can get away with some real oldies on that one, and people do love it. It's almost better to put a classic on, really.
And the other way that I know that you've been keeping yourself occupied during lockdown, of course, is by becoming an internet sensation. I can't talk to you without talking about the Stu Stuck at Home videos that you've been doing on YouTube. They've continued during this lockdown, haven't they?
Yeah, I like to keep doing them every so often. I think once a week, really, roughly. It keeps me sort of in contact with the public. And sometimes I'm running out of ideas, but other times those ideas crop up. And they're very short, as you know, and they tend to get quite a good following. So whilst I receive that following, I'll carry on doing it, I think.
Yeah. So if you just look, I guess, if you just type Stu Stuck at Home, they come up, don't they? You can
put it on YouTube, Stu Stuck at Home, and you'll see everything. But
brilliant.
The next one's going to all be about Valentine's, of course. I've got a few ideas what people can do at home. And,
brilliant.
What they can drink at home. So just a prompt them with a few ideas, that's all.
Good stuff. Okay, wonderful. And just remind us, if people want to get one of, do the Riverside at Home thing, where they get a movie and but kind of do it via you, so that it makes a contribution to the cinema at the same time. What's the website? Is it just the Riverside website?
You can go on the Riverside, which is the riverside.co.uk, or you can actually the Riverside at Home.
Brilliant.
And either way you'll get it. And then there's really step-by-step way, it's no different to really probably going onto Amazon or something. It's a step-by-step way of doing it. So it's all fairly straightforward. And
Wonderful.
You will see some different films, as I say, which aren't on those other platforms that we all know and love.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Stuart. Thanks for getting up to chat to us.
Pleasure,
Lovely as always. That's Stuart Saunders there, the owner of the Riverside Theatre in Woodbridge.